very broad topic. What I'd like to talk to you is from the point of view of somebody who's worked in your community for 23 years, the crimes we see all day long, every day, over and over, just to give you some insights on how to avoid being the victim of crime, okay? So with that being said, a little bit about myself. Again, 23 years for Beaverton, 16 as a patrol officer. The rest of the time as a detective or as a training officer. So we started with the home, right? So mainly the crimes that police officers in Beaverton go to around the home are theft, lots of theft, right? So the way I would look at it is there's a lot of folks in our community, maybe who have a drug addiction, and they're looking for opportunity.
Could you hold the mic up, please?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
How's that? Okay. All right. So there's something to keep in mind. You can live in a very safe community, and you do, but that doesn't mean there's not some folks a few blocks away, a mile away, who have some issues. And it is alarming to me how many times we'll have a crime wave that's going on for months, and we can cycle it back to one house, one person, or two people, or three people in one location with an addiction to fentanyl or heroin who are feeding a habit and are just trolling for opportunity. You arrest them, it stops. There's a gap of time, and then something else pops up. Somebody gets out of jail, now they're a mile that way. And so, they're not rocket scientists. All you need to do is, and you may have heard some of this stuff, is common sense things. The biggest thing is with cars, don't leave stuff in them, okay? I've been to so many calls where, and the biggest thing is this is a safe neighborhood, and it is. But that night, there was a car full of 4 people driving around looking for opportunity. How'd they get in the car? I left it open. How'd they start the car? I left the keys in the car. Anything important in the car? My wallet. Okay, this is shocking, I know. But it happens, and it happens due to complacency and feeling safe, which is a wonderful thing. We want you to feel safe. But it's not like the TV shows where you get under the dashboard and you hotwire the car. Most modern cars have chips in them. You can't just connect 2 wires. The steering wheel's locked. It's hard to steal those cars. You gotta put them on a flatbed, or you have to have a key. And we get, some people lose a key in the car. That ever happen? Or you don't know where it is, it's in the car. They're all electronic now. And that's what they're looking for. Most theft of vehicles, the point of entry is an unlocked door, right? It's weird. They just walk around jiggling door handles. 50 to 60% of break-ins of cars aren't break-ins, they just open the door and take what's available. So if it's at home, just don't leave stuff in there that's visible and desirable. That's the first thing. And just don't leave stuff in your car. Those are the folks that get it really bad. As far as the house, there's not a ton of burglaries. They do happen, and they are typically, again, those simple opportunities. An open garage door at night. You forget, you could be the best at it, and you just left it open one night, somebody walks by. That's too easy for them, so they go in. Same thing with leaving doors open. We've had people, they're just trying door handles. They're just low-key, easy deniability. Oh, I thought this was my friend's house. Checking door handles. Real simple stuff. They open the door, keys to the car by the door, pop the key, go out, beep, beep, drive away. It's really simple stuff. So we want you to feel safe, and it is a safe community, but a little diligence about just locking doors. Think about where you keep your keys, not leaving stuff in the cars. Super helpful. As far as safety with the house, it's really simple again. Lights help. Nothing's perfect, nothing's guaranteed, but lights help. Having a light on the front driveway helps, whether it's motion detected or on all the time. Same thing with backyards. And they help. People that Ring cameras, they're not a huge deterrent per se, but we've used them constantly. People call us, hey, did you get my door? Hey, somebody just went in my house. beauty of that is everybody's familiar with house alarms. So am I. 99.4% of home alarms are false. Okay? So we go to house alarms all the time. Never caught anybody. Not joking. If we were to actually catch somebody in an alarm burglary, we would be ecstatic. It doesn't happen. There is a measure of prevention from that. Some people put up the fake signs. That could totally help. Actually, having an alarm could help. Just be diligent about knowing the codes, who has access. Because most alarm calls are accidental. If I didn't say it already, it's 96.4%. So, personally, in 23 years, never been to an actual burglary alarm call and caught a burglar. The way we catch them is people have some sort of system like a Ring camera, or some people even have some stuff in their house. I don't do it personally because there's pluses and minuses, but they want to know their dog's okay, they want to know their kids made it home from school, so they've got cameras in the house, you can look at your phone, and they're like, hey, there's something in my house. Well, they don't know that you know they're there. They call us, and we will come in quietly, surround the house. We catch people all the time due to simple surveillance people put up, as simple as a Ring camera or some stuff in the house and outside the house. You get an alert. They look at their phone. They're in Cancun, and they're, hey, I'm gonna be arrested for somebody at my house. Okay, it's weird. This is the technology. It doesn't prevent it from happening, but it does help us catch the people doing it. So that stealthy approach is better than the alarm, in my humble opinion. But that's not to deter you. If you want an alarm system, that is a great deterrent. So that's the kind of stuff that I think about at the house that we go to over and over and over. Unlocked cars with property in them. But again, it's a small loss. You smack yourself on the floor and go, I know better. I lost a backpack once, not because I just forgot. Midnight, came home late, grabbed everything out of the car, left the backpack, came out the next morning, gone. Well, you gave that one up. It's just opportunity. That's the vast, vast majority of crime. Picture somebody looking for easy opportunity. If you're not easy, they will move on. Somebody else will be. So that's how it works. That's how I look at that. And at any time, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask me, and we can come back to any questions you have later too. But along those lines, with home and car, you've got this idea of folks just trolling for opportunity. Well, I think the biggest threat right now monetarily to folks for being the victim of crimes is fraud. We live in a digital era, connected by the internet. The power of it's enormous, AI is enormous, and one of the crimes, unfortunately, that I investigate a lot and can do very little to remedy. I love to go find bad guys, arrest them, get your stuff back and give it to you. Here's your stuff back, that's awesome. Well, fraud that happens via phishing, which you probably heard about on the news in a million places. Phishing scams are huge. They're global. You don't get your money back, and the numbers are big. Like many people, I've taken cases from the numbers are 40,000, 60,000, 80,000, 100,000. The money is gone. It's usually retirement savings, okay? And so I just want to talk to you about that a little bit, because it's not hard. Who's heard the expression a con man? A bunco artist. Con man is a confidence man, right? If you go back to the pre-digital age when we dialed phones with our finger on a little dial, it was an in-person thing. They would meet you, create a confidence scam where they build confidence with you, rapport with you, and then they do one of two things. They exploit your desire for something or your fear of something. But you have confidence in them, so you trust them, and eventually you give them money. It's a person-to-person interaction. That is antiquated now. It is all done online, by telephone. And it's really deep, and you gotta be really careful. So I kinda wanna talk about just a couple of the scams. They all work off the same principle. There's more than you can imagine. There's new ones coming up every day. But the way they work is always the same, okay? And the first thing you gotta remember is there's no hurry. If you have any doubt, there's no hurry. Doesn't have to happen now. You just gotta put a pause on it, okay? So, in short, they can come by email, text message, whatever. And it's usually, hey, your package is not delivered, or you owe money. The dumb one that goes around all the time is, you got a warrant for your arrest from Washington County. And they'll say the Washington County Sheriff. They'll actually give names that are real. Let's say Scott Amler. Well, they'll say Deputy Scott Amler of the Washington County Sheriff's Department. It's funny, because I do work in Washington County, but I don't work for the Washington County Sheriff's Department. I'm a captain now, and I'm demanding your money, and if you don't, I'm going to come to your house and arrest you. That's absurd. Okay, that one's been in the news a lot. But the key is, they make you fearful, and they can do things like have 911 call you. Well, 911 doesn't call people, and the number 911 doesn't show up on your phone. But it's easy for anybody to make any phone number appear on your phone. Like if I knew your grandchildren's phone number, right? If I knew that number, I could call you easily, and it would show their number. Okay, so it gets really sophisticated. That's been available for 15 years. So you can make any number. You can make it the bank around the corner. Hey, this is Barbara from First Federal. We're your local branch. It's easy to do. You have to be aware of the incredible power of what you can do now digitally, over the phone, using computers, to build confidence in strangers that you are the person at the bank, that you are the person at FedEx, that you are this person. And they have the internet to pull up addresses, locations, and send you maps. This is where I am. It's very easy to do that. So the trick is the pressure. It's got to happen now. If it involves cryptocurrency, it's a scam. If it involves putting money on a debit card, it's a scam. If it involves going to the bank right now and getting cash, it's a scam. If it's an emergency, it has to happen this second, it's a scam. Every time, always. So just know that if you have the slightest doubt, because I get roped into these things, I'm like, scam, ooh, is that free? And then I start to dig in. Don't press the button, don't call the number, start doing research, okay? You are in no hurry. If they get a hold of you, it's going to be a big emergency. Somebody's coming to your door right now. Your grandchild's in Mexico and they're going to be kidnapped, beheaded. If you don't immediately send it, it's an emergency. It's not. You have all the time in the world to verify everything. Call people. Call people, your neighbor, your children, anybody you think that might have more savvy with a computer. Just stop, pause, call somebody, get some advice. Don't be rushed, don't be hurried. That's the first thing. The hardest ones are ones where you're looking for something, right? Because the fear ones are they contact you. Your package that you're waiting for, they can actually follow email strings between people. Like let's say you're having a conversation about money and we're supposed to transfer money. There have been cases where they're tracking email correspondences between people and then they jump in. And they, oh, big change. This is the secretary from Bob's office, and we've had a change of plan. We need you to route the money to this. I mean, some of these are tough, right? But those are rare. They're targeting businesses usually. The folks at home, it's usually 1,000 different ones. But the ones that are for older generations that we hear about are my grandkids in trouble in another country. I need to get them bail money. The young arrest warrant, stuff like that. There's a million of them. And the keys are, again, you're not in a hurry, contact somebody, and you can, while you're talking to them, do internet research. Is there a scam about this? And then you can be reading it while you're talking to them. You can be on your phone, Googling the scam, learning about it, and go, yeah, oh, these are 3 phone numbers that have been used, showing up. They'll have names of people. And then if you want to have fun, you can go on YouTube and watch people that make videos of them wasting scammers' times. where they're just like, yes, oh God, I want to do that right away. I'll go to the bank right now. Slam the door, and they just keep them on the phone for an hour, messing with them. Because if you ever see these operations that are doing it, this is big business. It's not a person doing this. It's a organized criminal organization in another country where there's a call center of people doing this. It's not like a guy or two. It's a room full, bigger than this, and we're all doing it all over the country. And America is a wonderful place to hunt. So just know that that's out there. If you have any concern, or even if it's the smallest amount of concern, the big keys are they contacted you and they need you to do something now. Okay? That's the big trigger. They reached out to you. Seems authentic. This looks really authentic. They even know stuff about me. I need you to do something right now. Stop. Think scam, start looking it up. Because they're going to try and pressure you that you have to do it now or bad things are going to happen. It's not true. You have all the time in the world. Take all the time in the world. So that one, I've seen some really bad ones with that one. Because the money goes overseas, it's digital. You give them routing numbers, bank account numbers, and it's drained in seconds. And it's offshore, instantly digitally. It's unrecoverable. So that is the one that I would be really conscientious about. And I think it's ruthless because they do prey on an older generation who grew up, like teller machines are kind of a novelty. You go to the bank, I used to go to the bank, go to the teller, talk to a human. All the authenticity is built in. They have a brick and mortar business. It's a name that I know. I bank here every day. I, in fact, know the name of the teller, right? Person to person. Now it's global, and you can do everything digitally. You can cash your checks with your phone, and we've got this distance. How do we verify? How do we verify? So just be aware that you always have to slow down and verify, verify, verify. Do you guys have any questions about the fraud stuff?
I came to a fraud information event here a while back, and one of the things they said was, don't stay on the phone with them because, and I can't remember what the reason was, but it was something about it makes you more vulnerable because they can get something.
Okay, remember we go back to the original art of the confidence scam. If you're on the phone with them, they're working you. You're vulnerable. That's why it's called phishing. If they never hook the fish, nothing happens. You're like, you're full of crap, bye. Move on. You gotta move on. They're out there trolling, moving on, looking for the next person. As soon as they get a hook, they're talking to me, game on. That's the danger, is that they will find a way to finally learn enough about you to trigger you to be fearful enough to act. And they will discourage you from calling people. They are trying to isolate the target and build enough confidence in the person and fear in the outcome if they don't do what they want to do it. And it's brutal. And the thing is one of the emotions that comes into the people who are being victimized is shame and embarrassment and a feeling that they should be able to handle this. And they don't want to bother other people. They don't want to seem incapable or ill-informed. And so that's how they isolate you. And that's why it's so ruthless. Because I have a hard time keeping up with technology, and my parents have a hard time keeping up with technology. It is remarkable how fast it's changing, and you just don't know all the things that people are capable of doing to deceive you. And AI is like a game changer in that. You can now mimic voices. They can mimic the voice of your grandchild, and you will go, that's my grandkid. I mean, some of this stuff, it's like, you can't mouth fall for it. It's tough. So that's why the principles are talk to other people, verify, verify, verify. Nothing's happening right now. There is no emergency. Talk to other people, verify, do Google searches, contact, the biggest one is, whatever it is, let's say it's FedEx, the US Postal Service, blah, 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 they're claiming to be so-and-so from so-and-so. Just like, yes, I want to take care of that right away. I'm so glad you brought this to my attention. Thank you. As soon as I get off the phone with you, I'm going to call that branch immediately and take care. No, I need you to do it on the phone. No, I'm not comfortable with that. I'm going to do it by going direct. Okay, thanks, bye. And then you use real resources, not the ones they provided you, real resources to, I've had scams for like $80,000 on a car sale where it was real well done. And they had built this whole facade of fake businesses and banks. And it only came up when the guy went to the bank. And they're like, don't know what you're talking about. Go to the actual bank, call the branch, look it up. That's how you verify it. You gotta go old school and go talk to somebody, at least, look up the website of the organization, find a phone number that's legitimate, call them, start asking questions, and they'll be able to quickly confirm, no, we don't have a Bob that works in accounting, no. They're very familiar with it. And the old days, 25 years ago, fraud was all shred your mail, don't let your papers stay out here, they're gonna grab your papers. We still did credit card receipts with carbon copies. There was a paper trail. That's all long gone. You can still do it, but it's all digital. All of our personal information, social security number, routing numbers, bank numbers, all of our credit history, it's all been taken in a breach from somewhere. They breached Experian, which is one of 3 credit agencies that monitor credit for all of the people of America. They're data breaches, they're massive. So that stuff's out there. And it's okay, because the world's gotten really good at dealing with it. Like, we're familiar with these. It's not the end of the world. Like, the banks stop it. The banks are really good at stopping it now. 25 years ago, it was really hard. Nowadays, the banks are good at it. They are used to this. They're very familiar with it. And if they see somebody coming into a bank in a panic, trying to get $40,000 cash because they're gonna call the police. They're gonna try and put a stop to it. They're gonna do everything in their power. They're very aware of all this stuff. So banks are great at fixing all these problems now, but when you can't fix is when you give personal data over the phone or on the computer, and then it's all digitally gone, because they can make it happen on their phone in an instant from India, Nigeria, wherever. So it's pretty straightforward. And just don't be ashamed, don't feel bad, just start reaching out for help. They're very good at their job. They are professionals, they do it every day, and they make a lot of money doing it. So that's pretty much my 2 cents on that. Any other questions? Yes, sir?
So, I know there was kind of a craze a couple days ago, making sure you shred all your business or bank statements. You don't want to recycle them, so they might keep our information. Is that still recommended or not?
Yeah, I still got a shredder. I still shred it. And we shred everything because it's, again, opportunity. If it's easy and you're like, somebody comes across it, you're like, if you make it easy, you may never be victimized because it didn't come across the right hands. Like, people all the time, they'll get their car broken into, their wallet stolen, and they're like, what could happen? And I was like, well, it's a wide range. And I've seen everything from nothing ever happens to it, to immediately they're out charging credit cards, building an identity in your name, like pain in the butt stuff. But it is 20, 50 times easier today to clear your name and get your credit straight than it was 25 years ago when you had to shred your documents. And I've seen stuff where it's out there and then eventually they're smoking meth with their buddy and they go, you look like this person, and they'll trade the stuff, and then all of a sudden 2 years later it pops up. It's all over the map, but the good news is all the institutions that deal with digital money are way better. Back in the era of shred your documents, and you still shred your documents, it was crazy. The banks were terrible at it. It would take you weeks, months to clear your name and get your credit straight. Yes, ma'am.
I sent a check to somebody for running president, and they probably threw it away or put it in the recycle. And
I would imagine he was made whole. Was he made whole?
Yes,
Fine.
he was.
Yeah, not fun.
Can you repeat some of that into the microphone for us?
Yeah, so she's talking about two different kinds of, one's old school check washing, because now everything's pretty digital, but if you still write checks, you've got the routing number, you've got the bank account number. So the old school washing checks was you literally wash the check and you re-ink it, and it's a legit check. And it is, and you write it to somebody who you have fake ID for, and they go cash checks. Basically, it's low man on the totem pole in the drug world that puts themselves out there at the bank on camera cashing bad checks. And sometimes they get denied, sometimes they get it. So that was like old school classic. And I mean, it got really good when like VersaCheck came out, because they were like, we don't have to wash checks anymore. Let's just make them on the computer. Because you could do VersaCheck, you just build your own check. Just need the routing number and account number. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it does, it does. We got $4,000. Yay. So that's a separate one, old school. And the good thing is that you will get your money back. That all this fraud stuff that happens, you will get your money back. The bank will be like, oh, that's not your fingerprint, that's not your signature, that's not you on the camera. It takes work, but you get your money back. Second one's bigger, and it's a great point you brought up because I didn't mention it. You are entitled to get free credit checks through Experian, TransUnion, Equifax each year. Do it. Make sure you don't have accounts that you don't know about because you didn't make them. They were made in your name without you, because that data has been stolen and it's on the dark web and it's out there. Your credit card's out there, your social security card's numbers out there, your name, address, phone numbers out there. They do the same thing with IRS returns, right? They do a fake return, you go to turn in your IRS taxes and you're like, oh, you've already done it. You're like, I didn't do it, I just did it. No, you already did it, we sent you a check. No, you didn't. That's a common one because this data is out there. The good news is it's a work, but you can get your money back. You're gonna be made whole. It takes some time. It's a pain, it's frustrating, but you will get your money back. The ones I'm talking about, the scams that are digital where they reach out to you phishing, the difference is you don't get your money back. You did it voluntarily, knowingly. You were the one that made the transaction. The bank will not give you your money back and make you whole. That's the difference. That's why I focus on that one so much. Those are two great classic examples. There's literally thousands. We could talk all day. It's great to hear them, because every time you hear one, you're like, no, avoid that one now. Did that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, the point that she was making was that her husband checked the balance.
That's what I was saying.
Checked the transactions.
But was this, did he do Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, or did he just go check his bank account?
He was paying the bills.
Okay.
And so he was just checking the balance to see, he knew that this balance should be zero.
Right.
And it was $56,000. And it was $1 million credit line. So if he hadn't checked the balance, they could have just kept.
Yes.
And the question was, why didn't the credit union sort of get an alert to themselves when this was money against this, but they didn't.
No, they won't. And that, I mean, that, yeah, as far as if it, I thought I misunderstood you. But yeah, you should watch your accounts. You should be aware of how much money you have, how much is going in and out, the monthly thing. I still get it in paper. We can do it digitally. That's just good advice. That's just being smart to manage your money. The point I'm making is there's a possibility that you have an ATT phone account that you don't know about, or a line of credit at Kohl's that you don't know about. That's what you check Experian, TransUnion, Equifax for. Those are the three crediting agencies. You can get a report and go, yep, Bank of America, that's mine. Mortgage on the house, that's mine. Mine, home equity loan, mine, nothing else, we're clear. And then you go, people get it, and they go, oh God, I don't have that, that's not mine. Sometimes they get alerted, somebody from a bank or a financial institution calls and goes, hey, do you have this? They're checking, doing due diligence, which didn't happen in your case. Sometimes you find out that way. But just know you can pull your own credit report and see on all the credit you have, all the open accounts you have, all the bank accounts, credit cards, loans, everything in the world of credit, and you can confirm, yep, all good. And we do find people that find stuff that way. So, yeah.
Well, you say that checking the three credit companies.
We just got to check one. I just named all three of them.
Well, but if you check one and then 4 months later check the other and then 4 months later, you do them spread out, so that you're checking them 3 times a year.
Pro tip, great point. Thank you, sir. That is a good one. I like the level of paranoia, constant awareness. It's awesome.
Also, should that we freeze our credit and credit bureaus, accounts? That's what I'm.
If you see something that's not right.
I'm not going to try to get credit for something or open a new
Oh,
credit
okay.
card.
That would be up to you. Yeah, that would be up to you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Janet raised the point. You go to all the trouble to get on, check out the credit report. And you're anything like me and you don't have any plans to apply for a credit card tomorrow and you're not going to go borrow money for anything. You can freeze all free and nobody's going to open an account in your name with your social security number and personal information. Because nobody will open the account without being able to check the credit report, and it's frozen.
Now we're talking strategy. I like it.
So,
No, great ideas. They can't do it. It's just, they can't get to it. You've frozen it. Yeah, if that works for you, that would be a much higher level of security. And then there's also services you can pay for, like LifeLock and things. I'm not promoting
Yeah,
anything, but I have had people with flex with those and people with like not worth money.
you lock them for free, and you don't pay the recurring bill. And
Yeah.
you want a credit card, you unlock all free for
Yep.
5 days.
And I think the folks that are thinking like this and watching the accounts and pulling the credit reports are just quite a bit safer, right? It's awesome. And you can do it to whatever level you want. I just want people to be aware of the options. Some folks aren't aware. They're just living in a paper world. I get my statement, and it comes as a huge surprise 2 months after all the damage has been done that there's these accounts. But the good news is the world's pretty good at fixing it. As long as they can verify that wasn't you, it's a crime, they are liable. When it is you, you're liable. That's the big difference. If you pull the money and send it to Nigeria, it's gone. If you can show that somebody else did it without your consent, that's theft. The other one's theft through deception, doesn't apply, and the money's gone, it's another country. Those you can't prove, and they're way better at it than 25 years ago. The folks 25 years ago, 20 years ago, that they created an identity, it was a new concept, it was out of hand, and it would take months, it was agony to get your stuff squared away. And I think, did you have a question in the back, sir? Nope, okay. Anything else I can? Okay. The big topics, this is a cursory overview. But feel free to explore it on your own, and just remember the key ingredients, there's no hurry. If you feel like somebody's hurrying you, the keys are, did they reach out to me or did I reach out to them? Did I get an email? Did they contact me? Be very cautious. And there's no hurry. Get help, talk to people, do research, don't do anything now, and then verify, verify, verify. You independently contact the organization that has reached out to you, and you will find it's a fraud. And then you don't have to worry about it. And if you need, I get calls all the time, hey, is this a fraud? Yes, it is. But I'm worried it's real. It's not. And just, we put people at ease all the time. We're like, don't worry about it. Let it go. You'll hear about it if it isn't, but I've never been wrong. They're frauds. They're everywhere. So just be really vigilant. Don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be in a hurry. And just verify.
Is home theft really a thing? Because they have these commercials that get you scared about it.
Yes. So, like, everybody's afraid of, like, stranger crime, the boogeyman. That is not the bulk of things, right? A home invasion. Does it happen? Yes. Can you see it on TV? Yes. Most crime occurs between,
No, I'm
Oh,
talking
sorry.
about where they have those commercials trying to sell you protection against people stealing your home title.
Oh, gosh.
And taking out home loans, and then you find out you're broke and you don't have equity in your home anyways.
I'm going to say I haven't had any of those cases. I'm aware of it. I haven't had any. I really can't speak to it. I don't know. I know that the title fraud is one of the newer things, as is just moving into vacant, exploiting squatting rules and trying to take over somebody's home, but that's a newer thing too. I actually don't know about that one much at all. I've never investigated title fraud, but I've heard about it, so I don't know, I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
I just looked that up online a few days ago, and their company is legitimate, but what they're doing is not what the implications of their ad are. They're not protecting their own.
Okay.
I would be not shocked if there was somebody exploiting people's fear in a certain crime by offering nonsense. That would not surprise me.
Thank you so much, Officer Scott. We really appreciate you. If you have additional questions or comments, we can make sure that he receives them. If you all need a stretch break, please feel free to do so. We still have goodies and treats over there. But I am going to introduce our next speaker to get things underway. So next we have Shireen Farahi. She is the Outreach and Emergency Preparedness Coordinator for Community Emergency Response Team. We're so excited to have her come and share a little bit about what we can do now in order to be ready for when a disaster strikes. So thank you, Shireen, and come on down.
Hi everyone, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. I can also project my voice if needed because Mary Lynn, okay, Theo will be joining me today. She's a member of the Community Emergency Response Team as well. So we may be passing the microphone back and forth. So we're both just so grateful to be here today to explain to you about personal preparedness in times of disaster. Excuse me. So I'd like to explain a little bit about my background. I've been living in Beaverton for the past 20 years. I'm originally from San Francisco and then Corvallis, where I grew up. I grew up in both cities, one after the other. And I've been here for the last 20 years, and my background is in nonprofit development, and I'm currently president of a couple of nonprofit organizations in the Portland metro area. And I'm also obviously part of CERT, and I joined the program back in 2022, and just recently, in fact just this summer, I was made head of outreach to go out into the community and make these presentations. This is my first one today, and I'm very excited. I have a lot of materials here with me, and Mary Lynn does as well. So we're going to present starting right now. Would you like to?
My name's Mary Lynn Thiel, and I'm a child, adolescent, and adult psychiatrist. So I'm a physician, and I'm mostly retired because it's hard for doctors to ever really retire. But in my spare time, I do CERT things and other volunteer things. I live in Beaverton, and actually in unincorporated Washington County, and we've lived here since 1984. So I started a backpacking group for women my age about 18 years ago, and most of what I learned about what to put in my emergency pack came from being out in the middle of nowhere and needing something and not having it with me. And then I've also been originally a Multnomah County Emergency Team, NET team, in 1998, and then in 2014, I think it was, Beaverton started their first Community Emergency Response Team class, and I took that with my daughter and my grandsons, and so we've been CERT members in Beaverton since then. So I have a lot of things here. This part, from the blue backpack over to the black one, is what I would take with me if I was called out as a CERT member to go search and rescue through my neighborhood. And the second one is my 72-hour kit that I carry in my car. Since when I was working, probably 80% of the time, if there was an emergency, I would have been in my car, and I would have wanted to get home And so I'd have my 72-hour kit with me that I could carry on my back to get home, where I have all the rest of my emergency stuff.
Thank you. We also have here on this table, I have two separate tables here. This table here with things just kind of strewn, I still need to get them here a little more evenly distributed, are all part of a go bag. This is the backpack, and this was generously donated to this event by the City of Beaverton Emergency Management Program. So we'll be explaining what all these items here are, and then towards the end of the program today, we'll put everything back into the backpack, and this will be given away to one lucky recipient here today. So I'm very excited about that. And then over here, we have a lot of materials that you're all, please, come help yourselves, take them. We have a lot of materials back at the Emergency Management Office, all related to homes, to disaster preparedness, or to learning more about it, including a few Spanish language materials here too, because I didn't know how many Spanish speakers there might be here today. But we have items ranging from fun things like these thermal pencils, and they have the CERT logo on them and the website, so there is a function in that regard. You can look up the website. And we have stickers and some sticky notes, and I have my business cards right here. I'm just going to point down since I know most of you probably can't see the surface of the table. We have these light sticks as well that you can take to use those. We also have these paracord bracelets. These bracelets are made of a kind of, I guess they're nylon or so, but they have a lot of different functions. As you might be able to see, they're braided very tightly. And you can wear them as a bracelet just for convenience. But what you do with them is you untwist them, you unravel them, and you can use them for various functions, such as securing a splint on a broken limb, or hanging your clothing on it so it can be a clothesline, or you can tie down your gear with it if needed, or you can even start fires with it. And you do that, to my knowledge, you take the cord and you unravel it, and the inner threads inside are what you start the fire with by pouring fuel on them. So these come in all sorts of colors, and they have these very durable clasps, so please come up and help yourself. We have a lot of them. I have more items down here below than are on the table. Now also here, we have a lot of comic books about earthquake preparedness, and as you can, I hope you can see down here on the black panel, there is a sheet about the Cascadia earthquake, which could be coming anytime now. So these comic books are published by Dark Horse Comics, which are local, and put out in conjunction with the Office of Emergency Management and the Oregon Military Department. And though it's comic book format, they teach you all about earthquake preparedness, just in comic form. Yes? Sure, a little bit less, okay. I love that, I take that as a compliment.
Well, and usually you have to ask people to project more, and so I was saying that have it helps because actually I'm concentrating more on your voice.
Okay. Actually, can you hear me like this? No? How about like this?
Great.
Okay. I don't hold a microphone very often, so I'm just so concerned that everybody hears me. Okay, thank you. Please give me that kind of feedback if you need it. Am I speaking too fast, though? Okay. We also have some Spanish language materials. Here is a comic book, or excuse me, it's a coloring book, Preparing with Pedro. So whether or not you read Spanish, you might be able to take this as well, and it's just a coloring book to learn more about emergency preparedness. Here we have a pamphlet called Living on Shaky Ground. This one also is in Spanish, but also a lot of information about earthquakes. And then I'm going to just skip over here. I know we have a B2 Weeks Ready representative here, and CERT works with B2 Weeks Ready on a lot of things. And so I grabbed from our office, we have a few booklets on B2 Weeks Ready on that program, which is very valuable. being a structured program on preparing for emergencies. I believe it's 8 separate units on different aspects of personal disaster preparedness, and it's a wonderful program. So you'll be hearing more about that. And then we have a few items about toilets. If you have buckets at home, those are sticking together, it's stapled together. I don't know if that's on purpose. Thanks. Ooh, uh-oh. That's all right. Okay, thanks. Oh, thank you. So these big stickers can go on pails, on buckets, and you can do your business in them, number 1 and number 2. Don't know about number 3. Anyway, so you can put these on buckets, and buckets, if you have lids for them, and then you just follow the instructions. You can cover them with bark chips, etc., to help to dry the waste for poo, and then you double bag and store the waste separate from other garbage and away from food and water. And with pee, it's much easier. You can pour, if you add water to it, then you can pour it on the lawn or in the garden or on the ground. So that's with pee. So she was holding the poo one as well. And here again, please feel free to come take these. We have a lot of them. And put them on your own buckets. Thanks.
Why is it important for people to have a waste disposal system for human waste at home in case of an emergency? Do you want to just address that for a minute?
Sure, absolutely. To help keep those contaminants contained so that they don't spread out and you get them on your hands and everywhere else, and then you can help cause disease. And it's a hazard. It's a biohazard. We need to keep them all contained and to protect ourselves and protect others. We don't want to be around others' stuff.
Do you remember the Indonesia tsunami? Okay. I think over 200,000 people died during that. 100,000 of them died from cholera. Cholera is spread by human waste. So when people talk about sheltering in place at their homes, they have to have a system so that they're not spreading the bacteria from their gut into their water supply. So if you think about if your water's disrupted and you have to get groundwater or a creek nearby or something like that, then you don't want to have that contaminated with human waste, especially poo, which has the bacteria. Pee is actually sterile unless you have a UTI, a urinary tract infection. Otherwise, your urine is sterile. It doesn't carry the bacteria that your bowel movements do. So that's why you can dilute it so that it doesn't, the acid doesn't kill your grass and stuff like that, and get rid of it that way. But poo is one that really needs to be contained. And those buckets, you can also get lids that are toilet seats. They're about $12 a piece at Sportsman's Warehouse. And that makes it a lot more comfortable to sit on a bucket if you have to do the business. So if there's a question back here.
I was just going to bring that up. I bought a bucket with a toilet seat.
Yes.
Because I drive from here to Colorado, and there's sometimes too long between rest stops.
Yes.
Because some states don't have that many. And so I haven't needed it yet, but I thought for an emergency backup, I'll have that bucket with actual toilet seat on it.
Yes.
And I lined it with a heavy yard debris plastic bag, not a kitchen bag, but a heavier plastic.
Yes, that's a great example. At home, if you're 2 weeks ready and you have your toilet, then there are bags you can get that are biohazard bags to line that with, and you can also get little packets like they put in the honey pots, honey buckets, the chemicals that decrease the smell. And so there's ways to take care of things that make it safe to have sanitation at home when the toilets aren't working.
Are we talking about, like in our neighborhood, you have a bad storm and then the toilet freezes? Or what are we talking about?
Well, that's a good example. But we're talking mostly, CERT and the emergency preparedness are largely focused on the Cascadia subduction zone and the magnitude 9 earthquake that is due to happen at any time. So disruption of all services. People are, that's why a 72-hour kit, so that I could get home if the roads were closed, which they will be, and there's no way to get from one place to another. I need to survive until I get home. And then when I get home, in my neighborhood, I would set up a sanitation system for the whole neighborhood, because we have a creek and a wetlands, and if people start using that as their toilet, then we won't be able to use that as a water source. And if there's no water for us, what we have stored won't last us for the months that our water supply will be out.
Yeah, it's kind of along those lines. I'm kind of curious, what is the scenario for the big bad number 9 on the Richter scale? I mean, and what are the long-term plans that they are in place to deal with that? I mean, if it's like as horrible as we've heard of, there's no services, no electricity, no water. I mean, 2 weeks might not even be a big enough kit. And what is the plan for food, or like 10,000 people without habitable homes? Or, I mean, is there going to be refugee camps, or is there a plan for that? Or what's the big plan for the big bad one?
That is a wonderful question, and all I can tell you is that as CERTs, our first priority is to take care of ourselves and our families at home. And then if we are in good shape, we can then go out to our rally points and assemble, and then go out into our neighborhoods and check on everyone else.
Rally, is that something we make up ourselves? Or is there...
They're determined by various people who live in certain geozones within Beaverton, the Beaverton school boundaries. I'm also the head of Team Orange for the city of Beaverton, and that's all the city of Beaverton north of Highway 26. It's a huge area. It's very daunting, but we all decide on rally points ourselves. When I first came into this role a few years ago, the rally points had already been selected. But it's important to go to each one and look at the various features around it and determine suitability for being a place where CERTs can meet. So it can be, say, the parking lot of a school, or a certain street corner where there's enough room for people to congregate. Just have to be mindful of various natural barriers. It's a very hilly area, north of Highway 26, a lot of trees, have to be careful of power lines, there are marshes, so we're still kind of working on that. But in terms of everything going to pot, yeah, maybe we CERTs can't get out and do anything, in which case the authorities will just have to step in, and we will get out ourselves as we can.
So I would like to say, in the event of a major earthquake, so part of what emergency preparedness is preparing for, like 2 years ago, or January, when we had 16-degree weather for 10 days. That's something where people couldn't get out of their homes, their water might have been frozen. It's helpful to have a 2-week supply of food and water for those kinds of emergencies. Because a lot of people think, well, I never lived to see the big earthquake. Well, we don't know, we could, but if there is a 9.0 Richter scale earthquake, there will be no emergency services. So think about roads buckling, roads washing away, roads being impassable, and think about how many people are in emergency services are stuck at their homes or unable to go to their job at Tualatin Valley Fire District because they can't get there, or their home's destroyed and they have to take care of their own family. So as CERTs, or as individuals, what we recommend is that everybody be prepared individually for a major event, because you don't know if you might be lucky enough to live in an area where there's a food supply. Likely there won't be. I went to Safeway a few years ago and talked to the manager, and I said, in the event of a big earthquake, what would you do? And he said, well, we have emergency generators, so people could still come in and buy groceries. And I said, is there any other plan? No, that's the plan. Okay, so what happens when food runs out at that grocery store? You know,
working on this at all?
well, there's no overall, the overall plan for emergency preparedness is that every family be prepared to take care of themselves. And if you're in my neighborhood and I can get out, then I'll be out with my husband, we'll be triaging injuries, we'll be assessing houses for their safety in terms of whether people are safe to go in and out of them, and we'll be contacting the incident commander to see if they are able to provide services beyond just certain areas, like in our specific area. We're also aware of where the liquefaction zones are. You should know if you live on a liquefaction zone, which means that in the event of a major earthquake, if your land that your house is built on is liquefaction, it means that it will turn to mud and your house will sink into the mud. So it's important to know if your house is in a liquefaction zone. You can find that out by Googling it, and the state knows where all the liquefaction zones are. And whether your house is safe if you have reinforcements on the foundation to make sure that it doesn't fall off the foundation in the event of a major earthquake. And you should also know how to turn your gas off to your house, how to turn the water off at the main water main. These are all things we learned at CERT and that we have continued to practice. So you need to be individually prepared. And the 2-week plan is great for emergencies that last, a few days to a couple of weeks. But for a major emergency, like in Indonesia, that went on for months. The tsunami in Japan, people lived in their tents and in temporary shelters for more than a year. And so we need to be individually prepared within our own homes to be able to shelter in place if our home's still standing, or to have our stuff someplace outside of our home in case we're in a liquefaction zone and we've got our stuff now buried in 10 feet of mud. So.
That sounds pretty grim. A major earthquake is going to be a grim event.
Yes. I'm actually in a community with 1.5 million people, and all the bridges are gone, and the water system is all buckled, and the power poles are down. There isn't anything that they can do in any short amount of time to remedy that.
Right.
To put some kind of a shelter community together at this time.
Right. To replace the infrastructure would take, even to get garbage service, they estimate that under a major earthquake, it would be months before people with garbage. So you can imagine if you're not prepared and you don't have some extra big black plastic garbage sacks, how many rodents and things that you can attract around your home by not having a secure place to put your garbage. So there's a lot to think about with emergency preparedness.
I'm going to speak.
How much time do we have for ours still?
Maybe hold the questions till later.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead, sure.
So I'm going to go through, I'm not going to go through the emergency response, which would essentially is so that I can get into places, find people that are trapped, help to get them out, do some medical stuff, splint injuries, stop bleeding, assess people to see if they're red, which means that they're an emergency, and if we have somebody to respond to them, we triage them to red, they can get immediate treatment. If they're yellow, it means that they're injured, but they can walk around, and green means that they're uninjured, and black means that they're mort. In other words, they're dead. And so that's what we do at CERT in the immediate aftermath of an emergency to assess the community for safety, for transportation, for logistics, for medical problems, for gas leaks, all those kinds of things that would make an emergency much worse. If you are out away from home and you want to get back home, or you can't get back home and there's no place for you to shelter, then it's important to have a 72-hour kit, or as Sherry said, it's a go bag. So at home, you can grab it and go. I have mine in the trunk of my car because I won't be, if I'm not at home. If I'm at home, I have everything I need. If I'm not at home, I need to have what I need to have. And the best way to do this would be to figure out what you need is to go out, camping someplace for a couple of days and bring everything you think you need that would fit in a backpack, and then see if you have everything you need. And you'll find out pretty fast whether you do. So an emergency kit, a 72-hour kit, has water. These are 4 ounces of water. A pint of water is a pound. It takes 1 quart of water a day to sustain human life. So 3 days, 3 quarts, that's 6 pounds, that's the bottom of my pack. And this water says it expires in 5 years. Water literally never expires if it's in a sterile container. It's the container that might expire. So they're saying after 5 years, maybe the container will degrade and the water will leak out. I've had this for 20 years. It's still water, and it's still drinkable. People will say, oh, I have a life straw. And life straws are great, but I can't imagine kneeling down on the street and trying to suck water out of the water that's running through the gutter. I mean, think about a life straw. You have to be 6 inches away from your water source. So you are not prepared if you have a life straw. And if you can't find a water source, you're really not prepared. So this is 1 quart a day per person. That does not include washing, brushing your teeth. It's simply water to drink, which means that if you have food in your pack that's this, you have to have the water, extra water, to rehydrate this. Because if you rehydrate it with the water you're drinking, you're going to get dehydrated, and dehydration kills faster than anything except for hypothermia. So I have meals ready to eat that I order online. These are Army surplus, and they are self-contained. Some of them have heating elements, so they'll heat up what's in there. But they have their own water supply in the food. I have redundancy. I have 3 different ways to light things. I have a headlight, I have a flashlight, and I have light sticks. Because if one thing doesn't work, I need to have something else. And I have gloves because things are going to be sharp and splintery. I have, one of the things that people have when they get stranded is boredom. So I have a deck of cards, I have dice. I could play, there's 10,000 dice games. I even have a little thing that tells about all the different rules for the game, so you don't get in a fight with somebody and about the rules of how to play cribbage. And I have one of those little puzzles where you move the numbers around so that there's something to do during the downtime. So a 72-hour kit, if you want to know what's included, I keep a list of everything in my 72-hour kit in the compartments that list where in the compartments it's found, so I don't have to go through my kit to find where's my toothbrush, where's my cup. There's a lot more to a 72-hour kit: emergency shelter, tent, filtered medicine is really important. If you're on medication, you should have an emergency supply of medication. But there's just a lot that goes into a 72-hour kit. And if you're interested, you can go online, you can contact somebody at CERT and find out what's in there.
Yeah, we'll wrap up. Thank you so much. That was terrific. Very quickly, before we pass the mic to the next presenters, I wanted to show you these cards. You can hang these on your water heater tanks to access the water in times of emergency. So these teach you how to do that. So we have them here in English and a few here in Spanish. We have a ton of these at the Emergency Management Office, and we'd like to get them out into the community. So please take those. And then also, I have a pack. I'm sorry you probably can't see everything. There is a pack here of items. A lot of them are first aid, but we also have water, like she was just mentioning, in industrially sealed packs and all sterile. And these are for times of emergency. And then we have tissues and light sticks and sandy wipes as well, and some first aid items as well, a couple of pairs of gloves, a little first aid kit, and I guess this is hardtack. These are emergency rations made primarily of flour and sugar, but they're caloric and they will keep you sustained for a while if you don't have food. And we have some other little things, a water straw as well, and emergency ponchos, and some paracord here, and all these things are going to go into this go bag to be given away to a lucky recipient today, and some hand sanitizer. So just to let you know that. I think that is all then. Move on to the next presenter. Thank you all.
Hi, I'm Frank Bowers. Some of you know me, many of you don't. An earthquake, a 9.0 earthquake. The thought of that scares the hell out of me. However, you can get prepared, some prepared. And to that end, we're sponsoring a series of workshops down in Churchill, starting in mid-January. So the anticipation is, starting the 15th of January, we'll get together, and there'll be a series of weekly get-togethers, mostly to reinforce ourselves that we need to do something. I mean, if I net it out, doing nothing is not an option. Doing something may not be enough, but at least we've got to do something. So I've got a sign-up sheet here and back to me at this table. If you would like to participate in these, I'm calling them workshops because we're all going to figure out what we're going to do together with the help of these people. So stop by and see me and sign up if you want to participate. Thanks.
Thank you to all of our presenters. To all of them, did you want a chance on the mic, or are you okay? I just want to offer, but just please come to their table and talk to them, and you can find out all about the fire safety precautions that can be taken. And they look like they have a bunch of fun stuff on their table, so I'm definitely going to stop by. I think we're going to do some quick door prizes. Just a reminder that you can talk to Frank about continuing this action, and I know all of our presenters are making themselves available, and hopefully we'll have this again sometime soon. So I think we got some buckets. Now, Jan, how many door prizes do we have?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the pack.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. So, all right, are we ready? All right, our first one is, and I can just read the name if there's a name on the back, is Marilyn Connell. She is a first prize winner. Do they get to, are you assigning them prizes, or they get to choose a prize? Okay, there you go, Marilyn. Wonderful. Our second prize winner here this morning is Carol and the Halverson. Is that correct? Oh, she just stepped out. Okay, we'll please make sure she knows she gets to choose a prize. Our next one is Jean Sowers. All right, lady, you get another prize. There we go. Let's see here. Karen Gambach. Yeah, Karen, wonderful. And then, so we have one more. Okay. And last one for today. Bob Archibald, big winner. All right, and Jan can help you find those prizes. Please take a moment to stay and pick up some materials, pick up another snack or cup of coffee, and thanks again for being here today. Yes? Oh, wonderful.